Hey guys, it's Meat Department here, and today we're going to discuss all the upcoming changes to Fury Warrior, both in PvE, but mainly in PvP, guys. So, with the upcoming patch coming December 13th, opening up the new Raid and Mythic Plus, well guys, PvP nerfs finally hit Fury Warrior. So a lot of people have been complaining about our self-healing and how strong it is, this, that, the other thing. While Blizzard's coming at us, they are definitely hitting with some of the gushing wound talent damage. They're hitting us with the self-healing and Slaughterhouse PvP talent, guys. You know, the one that puts the Mortal Strike debuff, strongest in the game. Yeah, all of that. So today I'm going to show you what those patch notes actually are from Blizzard. Then I'm going to give you some of the stats from a Battleground that I recently just played to show you how it could affect things, right? And then we're going to go ahead and hit the target dummy and talk about Slaughterhouse specifically to end things and what I think it's going to look like next week, guys. So let's go ahead and jump right into Wowhead right here. So let me pop it up on the screen. So here it is right here. The first thing is just in general, Warriors, Fury Warriors, gushing wound, damage, and healing reduced by 10%, guys. And basically, to help compensate for that, the developers say they're going to give us a 1% increase to Bloodthirst and Bloodbath damage. So that doesn't quite seem like it's an equal trade-off, but let's take a look here just at the stock talent. So Cold Steel Hot Blood is the one that's going to give you gushing wounds. Now this leeches, for me, 8,527 health, at least on the tooltip right now. So if you knock 10% off of that, guys, that's like 7,700 now it's going to be doing. So that is significantly less, 10% less. And to compensate, they say they're giving us a 1% damage increase to Bloodthirst. So my Bloodthirst does 6,822. 1% of 6,800 is 68 damage, guys. It's not even going to go up to 6,900 damage. It's literally a mediocre compensation for that. But I know with some talents, for example, if you get improved Bloodthirst and Vicious Contempt and some of these other things, Blood Craze, and you go the Annihilator build, you're going to be focusing Bloodthirst a little bit more, and Bloodthirst is going to be doing a little bit more damage overall, but it's not going to compensate for that 10% damage loss that we're getting from Gushing Wound, guys. So yeah, that's kind of a shame right there on that one. But let's go ahead and jump back now, because that's just the general notes. Now if we go down to the PvP section and scroll down to Warrior, this is the big one right here. So right here, Bloodthirst now restores 2% of our health in PvP combat instead of 3, guys. So that doesn't seem like a major thing, but that's actually 33% less effective now. So before we were healing for 3% HP every time we hit something with Bloodthirst. So if you had 100,000 health and you used Bloodthirst, you could get 3,000 HP back, guys. Now it's getting nerfed to the point where it's 2%. So it's going to be 2,000 HP. So when you're in Battlegrounds with 400,000 experience, basically, or 400,000 hit points, I mean, instead of getting 12,000 HP back, you're only going to be getting 8,000 HP back. So over a long stretch of time, that's a big overall healing nerf if you use Bloodthirst a lot in your build. It just depends on what spec you are, guys. So it could be worse, but I'm going to show you some stats. At least with my burst build, you using Raging Blow, it's not that big of a deal in Battlegrounds. But again, guys, keep in mind, arena situations are a little bit different. The amount of focus on less targets is different than in Battlegrounds, where there's a lot of swapping around and burst damage all over the place. But let's move on, because there's some really important things right here, guys. In my opinion, the Slaughterhouse nerf is probably the most significant for us, right? Now, we did lose some self-healing with Bloodthirst and Gushing Wounds and all that, but that's not that big of a deal for Fury Warrior, in my opinion, as this is right here. The Slaughterhouse debuff getting nerfed hard, guys. So if you don't know what this is, jumping back to the game real quick, guys, it is this one right here. It's the Slaughterhouse talent. Basically, what it does, when you use Rampage, the damage reduces the healing the target receives by 5% for 6 seconds, stacking up to 8 times. So what that means is if you stay on that target and you do a couple rounds of Rampage, you're basically going to get it up to max stack. It's going to basically make them take 40% less healing. And the thing with that is it refreshes. So every time you Rampage and apply it to that same target again, it's going to keep it going. So it's like a constant Mortal Strike on the target. And that is awesome. It's definitely helping with all the self-healing everyone has and everything else in the game. But you know what? They're not having it that way. I think healers might be complaining, guys. So let's go back to the little Wowhead chart here and take a closer look. So now basically what's changing is Slaughterhouse is going to decrease the healing by 3% per stack instead of the 5 I just showed you guys. Now, that's a big nerf, right? However, they are allowing it to stack up to 12 times instead of 8. So essentially what that means is instead of having a max of 40% healing debuff, it could have a max of 36%. So it's only a 4% nerf. It's a 10% nerf to this. It's not that big of a deal because 36% is still very, very strong, guys. But and in addition to that, they're also increasing the duration that it lasts from 6 seconds to 9 seconds. So they're basically just stretching things out. They're making it take a little bit longer for us to actually apply the full stacks onto targets, guys, which means you're going to want to hit them at least with a couple rampages to really make it hit home, because if you just do one rampage, it's not going to do that much, but 2 of them is going to start going. So they're pretty much just delaying it and making it a little bit harder to get full max stacks on. But the last part that I think was a little bit overkill here is Slaughterhouse duration is no longer refreshed when adding stacks, guys. I don't know if that is intentional or written like it's supposed to be, but if that is the case, that means we literally only have 9 seconds to apply 12 stacks of Slaughterhouse to a target before it falls off, and there's no way to refresh it whatsoever. So that is kind of interesting, and I don't really understand what that means. Now, does that mean if we do get it up to full 12 stacks within 9 seconds and we hit rampage again, it's going to continue to refresh it at 12 instead of, like, you know, you target off to another guy to hamstring or pummel him and then switch back to refresh the stacks you were building? I don't know exactly what that means, but if it means that this is going to fall off after 9 seconds, guys, it's going to be pretty hard to get 12 stacks, and that is pretty annoying. They're going to have to keep on building it up, so you can't have a consistent 36% healing debuff as long as you stay on target. Now, we all know that it's usually easier said than done to stay on target in Battlegrounds especially, but even in arenas with the CCs, the swaps, all that stuff, you're switching targets, getting stunned, this, that, the other thing, guys, that it's going to be pretty hard to maintain. So the Slaughterhouse nerf is actually pretty big. So what I want to show you now are some of the stats here real quick. So this is damage overall from the last Battleground I did, guys. So just taking a look at things right here. So with my build, it is basically the Raging Blow burst build. I do not focus on Annihilator or Bloodthirst at all. It's old school Raging Blow. We got Odin's Fury, Ravager, and I went with Thunderous Roar for this one. So a lot of the warrior points you could change around, so we're not going to get into that. These are kind of my specific things I was doing for Battlegrounds. So that's what we got going on with the build that I used for this. So the damage overall, mostly what I used was Rampage to actually try to apply the healing debuff, guys. But Crushing Blow and Odin's Fury did a lot of damage. So Crushing Blow I focused on a lot because I'm spec'd into where when I hit Rampage, I get the empowered Crushing Blows and Bloodbaths, guys. So we're doing good on that front. But you see, I did not use Bloodbath that much. Only 6 casts of Bloodbath and 5 in its Bloodthirst form. So now taking a look at the healing done, guys, the significance of everything right here is from a Battleground right here. This is basically what I cast during a Battleground. So as you see, Bloodthirst heal, I only did 8 hits of this right here. So I didn't cast this that much because it's such a low priority compared to Crushing Blow and Rampage, guys. I mostly use this when I combo it with the actual Enraged Regeneration, because when you do that, you're going to get 23% HP every time you use it, and that's how I boost up and spike it, not the consistent 3% healing along the way. So as you see, the average is 35,000 because my max was 90,000 when I used Enraged Regeneration, and of course it was a lot lower without it. So that's what that has right there. But you see, some of the healing right here from the Battleground, it's basically my impending victory. So my basically you kill an opponent, or every 25 seconds I can heal myself for 30% HP. That's what really does a lot of the healing. The Pain and Gain talent, when that procs every 10 seconds, look at that, that's number 3. Then just the passive leech on the gear, guys, is number 4. The Health Stone, Invigorating Fury, which is the talent point for Enraged Regeneration when I click it. Then we have the Druid's Leader of the Pack, second win when I'm not even in combat. And lastly, I did try Battle Trance, but it's not looking like it's paying off in Battlegrounds for the build I'm doing right now. It's very low. So as you see, the Bloodthirst heal itself, guys, isn't that big of a deal as you think. Now, it's a little bit of heals over a long period of time, I get it, but what we mainly do as warriors when you're in the Raging Blow build like I am, you use Bloodthirst basically if you have to, or if you Enrage Regen, again, like I said, to hit it and get 23% healing every time. That's really when we'd use it. So it's not that big of a nerf because it's going to be 22% instead of 23%. It's still going to give us a ton of HP, guys. But I want to go now and focus on Slaughterhouse for the end of this video. because as we see, the healing nerfs, yeah, they're bad. You know, it always feels bad to have a little bit less self-healing, but it's not going to be a game breaker in my opinion. What is going to be a game changer is Slaughterhouse, guys. So here is the aura from a Battleground right here. As you see, I applied it 30 times and refreshed it 207 times. Now, a lot of that was because I did whirlwind AoEs on multiple targets as well. But regardless, guys, it was refreshed a lot. So it was building up, it stacked on some players, and kept on refreshing to get higher stacks. Basically reducing their self-healing and any healing from the actual dedicated healers on the team, which helps us in the long run. That got nerfed hard. So I'm thinking moving forward, if it's only applications, guys, we're not going to see very many refreshes right there at all. And I'm kind of concerned about that right there. So I want to go ahead and hit the target dummy. Now, right now, as it stands, we have 6 seconds to actually hit the target dummy to stack it up. Whereas basically, in the upcoming patch, we're going to have 9 seconds to get it up to 12 stacks immediately without being able to refresh it. So it's a little bit of a different story here. So let's go ahead and reset the data. There's a PvP training dummy, and we're just going to go ahead and we're going to see how long it takes us to get 8 stacks. I'm going to charge in, and I'm going to just go ahead and Bloodthirst right away, Raging Blow. I'm not going to pop my cooldowns on this. There we go. So we got the first Rampage starting right there, right? And then we got the second one. So within 2 globals, we can get it to 8. That's a beautiful thing. And then if we keep on going, you see, we're going to be able to refresh it right here, guys. It just refreshed. So that's what's really good about the refresh. You see, if you're on the target, you're pretty much consistently keeping them at a 40% healing debuff. And I can see how that is very strong and everything like that. So what I'm thinking is it's going to fall off after, and we're going to have to start the stacks up again. So like I said, they're definitely slowing momentum down, because instead of getting it off in basically 2 rampages, what it's going to actually require us to do is go ahead and get off 3 rampages to fully stack it up. So right now that's 8, right? And then I would go ahead and get the last one up. It would be 12, and it would probably expire right now where I'd have to start again. It would go from 4 to now my second rampage is 8. Keep on doing my thing, and hopefully I can get it going and get the 12 up again. So what I think it's going to look like, we'll see when it actually comes, and I will cover it, is it's going to be a constant up and down with the healing peaking out at 36%, but not being there for very long, guys. So what I think it's going to do is basically make it harder for you to kill things in the long run, because it's going to have less debuff on targets, guys. So yeah, that's pretty much it for now, taking the first look at things, guys. Let me know in the comments below what you think about the changes to Fury coming, and yeah, I'm excited to check it out when it does actually happen, not because I like the nerfs, but because I want to actually confirm what it does and how it actually plays out in Battlegrounds, and most importantly, when arenas do start, guys. So that's all I had for today. I appreciate you sticking with me, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.